former Singapore President Halimah Yacob has strongly criticized Israel's ongoing blockade of humanitarian aid into Gaza, calling it a humanitarian catastrophe which is getting worse daily. In a Facebook post published on 23 May 2025, she condemned the inadequate aid flow into the region, stating that only a trickle of supplies was reaching civilians, far below what is required to prevent starvation and mass suffering. Citing United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres, Halimah highlighted the dire consequences of the blockade, warning that 14,000 babies could die due to lack of food. She added that over 14,000 children have already been killed by the Israel Defense Force, calling this an annihilation of a future generation. Keeping quiet makes us complicit in the violations of international humanitarian laws and encourages similar aggressions elsewhere, she wrote. Our world is all the poorer for it. Uphold humanity. Halimah has been a consistent advocate for Palestinian rights since the start of the conflict. In March 2025, she condemned Israel's treatment of Palestinians, drawing attention to forced displacements and violations of international norms. In February, she also criticized former US President Donald Trump's remarks, suggesting the resettlement of Palestinians outside Gaza. She labeled the idea a clear violation of international laws and likened it to the 1948 Nakba, when hundreds of thousands of Palestinians were displaced from their homes. Her advocacy reflects growing international concern over the deteriorating situation in Gaza, where the humanitarian crisis has intensified due to the continued conflict and restrictions on aid. On 20 May, Singapore's Ministry of Foreign Affairs issued a statement calling for an immediate ceasefire and full resumption of humanitarian aid. Singapore has consistently called for all parties in the conflict to comply with international law, including international humanitarian law, and ensure that all civilians are kept out of harm's way, the MFA said. It also emphasized the need to protect civilian infrastructure, including hospitals and medical workers, and called for the immediate release of all remaining hostages held by Hamas. According to the BBC, 58 hostages remain in Gaza, with up to 23 believed to be alive. The conflict in Gaza escalated sharply on 7 October 2023, when Hamas launched a surprise attack into Israel, killing approximately 1,200 people, mostly civilians, and taking 251 hostages. Israel responded with a large-scale military campaign, which has since displaced hundreds of thousands and created a severe humanitarian emergency. As of May 2025, Gaza health authorities report that more than 53,400 people have been killed, including at least 17,400 children. In addition, over 121,000 have been injured, with many casualties among civilians. Although a 6-week ceasefire occurred earlier this year, Israel imposed a new aid blockade in March, drastically cutting the flow of humanitarian supplies. Since then, at least 57 children have died due to malnutrition, according to Gaza's Ministry of Health. The World Health Organization has warned that this figure is likely an underestimation and that famine risks are escalating due to deliberate restrictions on aid. Nearly 500,000 people in Gaza now face catastrophic hunger, while the entire population of 2.1 million suffers prolonged food shortages, illness, and displacement. The WHO described the ongoing situation as one of the world's worst hunger emergencies, unfolding in real time.